Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you went in there? Or maybe you found yourself rereading the same paragraph 3 times, only to realize you still don't remember what it said. If that sounds familiar, you are not alone. And more importantly, there's nothing wrong with you. This kind of mental fog, that feeling like your brain is wrapped in cotton, is something many people begin to notice more often after turning 70. Now, that doesn't mean you're losing it. Not at all. It's actually a very common experience, and it has more to do with how our brains naturally age than anything else. But just because it's common, doesn't mean we have to accept it as our new normal. Think of your mind like a garden. Over time, if we don't tend to it, weeds can start to grow. But with just a little care, a little attention, that garden can bloom again, clear, vibrant, and full of life. So today, let's talk about what's really going on when we feel mentally foggy after 70, and more importantly, let's explore some simple things we can do every day to clear the haze and feel sharper, more focused, and more like ourselves again. First, let's get one thing straight. Brain fog isn't a medical condition. It's a way to describe what happens when your thinking feels sluggish, your memory slips, or your focus starts to drift. And while it can feel frustrating or even scary, it's often caused by very real, very fixable things, like poor sleep, dehydration, lack of movement, or even loneliness. Yes, loneliness can fog the brain, too. But we'll get to that. Let's begin with something you probably didn't expect: your breathing. That's right. One of the fastest, simplest ways to clear mental fog is to check in with how you're breathing. You see, when we're stressed, anxious, or simply not paying attention, we tend to take short, shallow breaths. And when our brain doesn't get enough oxygen, it slows down. It's like trying to run a marathon with half a tank of gas. No wonder we feel sluggish or cloudy. So the next time you feel like your brain isn't quite on, try this: sit comfortably, close your eyes, and take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Hold it for a few seconds. Then exhale gently through your mouth. Do that 3 or 4 times. It takes less than a minute, but it can bring immediate clarity, like wiping condensation off a foggy mirror. And while we're on the topic of clarity, let's talk about water. Yes, water. Something as simple as not drinking enough of it can cause your brain to feel tired, unfocused, or foggy. As we age, our sense of thirst becomes less reliable. We might not feel thirsty, but our body, and especially our brain, is craving hydration. In fact, even mild dehydration can shrink brain tissue and reduce memory and alertness. So, here's something you can try today: keep a glass of water nearby throughout the day. Sip from it often, even if you don't feel particularly thirsty. If you're not a fan of plain water, add a slice of lemon or cucumber. Or try herbal teas that are caffeine-free. Just make it a habit, like brushing your teeth or putting on your shoes. Small effort, big results. Now, let me ask you something personal. When was the last time you moved your body? Not a full workout or anything fancy, just a walk around the block or even dancing a little in your kitchen. It might surprise you, but one of the most powerful tools for clearing mental fog is simply moving more. Our brains thrive on movement. It boosts blood flow, increases oxygen, and releases those feel-good chemicals that lift your mood and sharpen your focus. You don't have to go to the gym or take a class unless you want to. But just standing up and stretching, walking to the end of the driveway, or doing gentle yoga in your living room, all of that counts. Think of movement as brain food. Every step you take is a signal to your brain that you're alive, alert, and ready. And here's the best part: movement doesn't just help your mind in the moment. Over time, it actually helps grow new brain cells and strengthen the connections between them. So even if it feels small now, it adds up to something powerful later. There's something else, too, something that's often overlooked but makes a world of difference. And that's connection. You see, our brains are wired for interaction. When we talk to others, share stories, laugh, listen, and even argue a little, our brains light up. It's like giving them a fresh breath of air. On the other hand, when we spend too much time alone, not just physically but emotionally, our brain slows down. It becomes like a car stuck in neutral, You don't have to become a social butterfly. Just a short chat with a neighbor, a phone call with a friend, or joining a local group can make your mind feel more awake. And if getting out isn't easy, even writing letters or talking to yourself in the mirror can activate those parts of your brain that thrive on communication. When we nourish our brains with oxygen, movement, hydration, and connection, we're not just clearing the fog, we're lighting a path to a more vibrant, aware version of ourselves. You're not too old, and it's not too late. In fact, this moment, right now, might be the perfect time to start fresh. There's something quietly powerful about knowing you're not alone in what you're feeling. That foggy-headed sensation, the slight pause before remembering a name or why you opened the fridge, these aren't signs of failure or decline. They're simply signals. And the beauty of a signal is that it invites a response. A gentle shift. A chance to tune in and take care. Now that we've talked about breathing, hydration, and movement, let's turn our attention to something just as important, what you're feeding your brain. Think of your mind like a classic car. It's built with care, full of potential, and with the right fuel, it can run beautifully for many years. But if you pour in the wrong kind of fuel, or worse, forget to refill at all, well, even the best engines start to sputter. After 70, the brain becomes more sensitive to dips in blood sugar and changes in nutrition. That means what you eat can either sharpen your thoughts or cloud them. So let's talk about food, not in a restrictive, diet-heavy way, but in a nourishing, life-giving kind of way. One of the simplest changes you can make is to add more colorful foods to your plate. Bright berries, leafy greens, orange carrots, purple cabbage, they're not just pretty, they're packed with antioxidants that help protect your brain cells from damage. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Just try adding one new colorful fruit or veggie to your meals each day. Even a small bowl of blueberries in the morning or some spinach in your soup can make a real difference. And don't skip meals. It might sound harmless, but long gaps without eating can make your brain feel foggy and slow. A steady supply of energy, from real, whole foods, helps keep your thoughts clear and your memory sharp. Think of it like this, your brain is always working, even when you're resting. So it deserves to be fed well and regularly. Now, let's talk about something a bit unexpected, clutter. Not the kind in your kitchen drawer, though that doesn't help either, but mental clutter. The constant buzzing of worries, lists, news headlines, or unfinished tasks can pile up like papers on a desk, making it hard to focus on anything clearly. It's one of the silent causes of brain fog that doesn't get talked about enough. One of the most powerful ways to clear that mental clutter is to write things down. It sounds simple, maybe too simple, but getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper can feel like a deep breath for your mind. Whether it's a to-do list, a little journal entry, or even a few words about how you're feeling, the act of writing gives structure to the chaos. It tells your brain, it's okay. You don't have to hold all of this alone. You don't have to be a writer or even use full sentences. Just grab a notebook, sit somewhere quiet, and start with whatever's on your mind. I didn't sleep well. I'm worried about my friend. Today, I'm grateful for my warm socks. That's it. No pressure, no rules. Just room to breathe. Speaking of breathing room, let's not forget how powerful rest can be, not just sleep, but real rest. So many of us keep going, even when our bodies and minds are begging us to pause. We might sit down, but our brains are still running, planning, remembering, rehashing. Over time, that constant noise takes a toll. It's okay, more than okay, to do nothing sometimes. Not scrolling, not watching, not fixing. Just sitting, maybe listening to the birds outside or feeling the breeze through a window. Giving your brain moments of calm is like clearing out cobwebs in a quiet attic. It doesn't take much, but the effect is lasting. And when you pair that stillness with something beautiful, like music or nature, the impact is even greater. Listening to a favorite song, watching the sunlight on leaves, or even sitting with a pet can activate parts of your brain that often lie dormant in daily routines. It's not about entertainment. It's about reminding your brain that the world is still full of wonder, and you're a part of it. One last thing, And it might be the most important: kindness. Especially to yourself. Brain fog has a way of making us doubt, worry, or even blame ourselves. Why can't I remember like I used to? Am I just getting old? But those thoughts don't help. In fact, they make the fog worse. What your brain needs isn't pressure. It needs patience. Encouragement. It needs you to believe that clarity is possible and that you're doing just fine. Imagine if you spoke to yourself the way you would a dear friend. It's okay to forget sometimes. You're human. You're doing your best. Let's just take this one moment at a time. Because that's really what it's about, isn't it? One moment. One breath. One small shift at a time. And over time, those small things add up to something extraordinary, a mind that feels clearer, stronger, and more like you. There's something deeply reassuring in knowing that even the foggiest days can clear. Just like clouds drifting across the sky, that mental heaviness we sometimes feel isn't permanent, it's just passing through. And with a few gentle habits, a bit of attention, and kindness to ourselves, we can invite in the light again. Now let's talk about something many people overlook when they think about brain clarity: sleep. Yes, sleep, not just how long you sleep, but how well. It's not uncommon to hear someone say, "I slept 8 hours, but I still woke up tired." That's because the quality of your rest matters just as much as the quantity. As we age, our sleep cycles naturally change. We might wake up more often during the night, or find it harder to fall asleep in the first place. And when our sleep is restless, the brain doesn't get the chance to do what it does best while we're dreaming: clean up. Literally. During deep sleep, the brain washes away waste products that build up during the day. It clears out the clutter, resets memory pathways, and refreshes your focus for the day ahead. So if you're tossing and turning at night, here's something to try. Create a little bedtime ritual, just for you. Maybe it's dimming the lights an hour before sleep, listening to gentle music, or sipping a warm cup of herbal tea. Try to avoid screens, the phone, the TV, the tablet, for at least 30 minutes before bed. Let your mind know it's time to rest. The more consistent you are, the more your brain will respond with deeper, more refreshing sleep. Another powerful way to nurture your mind after 70 is to keep learning. That doesn't mean going back to school, unless you want to. But it could be as simple as learning a new recipe, trying a new card game, or even switching up your walking route. When you stretch your brain in new directions, it forms new pathways, like fresh trails in a well-worn forest. These little challenges keep your mind agile, curious, and alive. You might be surprised how good it feels to learn something new, especially if it's just for the joy of it. No pressure, no deadlines. Just the pleasure of discovery. That could mean picking up a paintbrush, learning a few words in a new language, or asking your grandchild how to use an app. Your brain loves novelty. And the older we get, the more valuable that curiosity becomes. But here's something equally important and often overlooked in the conversation about mental sharpness: purpose. A reason to get up in the morning. A sense that your presence, your voice, your story still matter. Because they do. Many people over 70 begin to feel like their role in life is shrinking. The kids are grown, the job is done, and suddenly the days feel quieter, sometimes too quiet. But quiet doesn't mean empty. In fact, this chapter of life can be one of the richest, most meaningful of all, if we choose to fill it with what matters. Maybe your purpose is taking care of a garden. Maybe it's mentoring someone younger. Maybe it's simply being there, with wisdom, with kindness, with love, for your family, your neighbors, or even for a stranger. You've lived so many years, seen so many things. And that experience is a kind of gold that can't be bought or rushed. Share it. Live it. Let it light the path forward. The truth is, mental clarity isn't just about doing the right exercises or eating the right foods. It's about how you feel about yourself. About your life. It's about waking up and knowing that today matters. That you matter. So if your mind feels a little cloudy sometimes, don't panic. Don't scold yourself. Just breathe. Drink some water. Take a gentle walk. Call a friend. Eat something colorful. Learn something new. Go to bed a little earlier. Write down what's on your mind. And above all, remind yourself you're still growing, still evolving, still full of possibilities. There is no age limit on clarity, no expiration date on joy, and no rule that says you can't feel mentally sharp and emotionally alive at 70, 80, or beyond. Your mind is still yours, powerful, capable, and waiting for your care. So let this be your gentle reminder. Brain fog doesn't mean you're fading. It means your brain is asking for a little more love. And the beautiful thing is that love is already inside you. Every small act of self-care, every kind word you speak to yourself, every mindful choice, they all add up. And the fog? It begins to lift, little by little, day by day. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What helps you feel clear and focused? Have you tried any of the habits we talked about today? Share your thoughts and your stories in the comments, not just for me, but for each other. You never know who might be encouraged by your words. And if this video helped you even just a little, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. We're building a space here for people like you, wise, warm, and wonderfully human, and I'd be honored to have you as part of it. Until next time, take gentle care of yourself. Keep breathing. Keep moving. And above all, keep believing that your best days can still be ahead of you. Here's to a clear mind, a full heart, and a beautiful life at any age.